got them both. I am currently. Not.
He's hurt.
Friends dead. Crit crack, welcome back. I'm GFA, and this is my ultimate PvP guide for Escape from Tarkov. Don't know what all the hand movements are, but this video is very much so aimed, I'm still doing it. This video is very much so aimed at people below 300 hours of gameplay, and we're going to be looking at the things that you need to know that will change the outcome of the fights that you currently might be losing. So if you're a beginner to this game, this video is very much so for you. Now I'm going to break all of these tips into 8 different segments, to which I will timestamp below, but if you're ready, grab a snack, sit back, and let's begin. So map knowledge. Now naturally, like every game, your Call of Duties, your Battlefields, you will naturally improve over time when you've learnt the maps you play. However, in Tarkov, you do need to go that extra mile in regards to researching the maps that you're playing. You need to learn where other players are likely to spawn, where your extracts are, and if any of them have any special requirements. For example, the sewer manhole extract on reserve, which you can only take with a no backpack on. The reason I suggest that you really learn the maps is so that you can anticipate where other players might be coming from and where a fight might happen, but also to know the closest extract to run to if you suddenly need to get out of raid due to injuries. A good place to start here would be external websites such as mapgenie.io, which show the entire map with all points of interest, or the Tarkov wiki, which holds all of the Tarkov knowledge your heart desires. The links will be down below in the description to both of those websites, but I'll be showing you them on screen here anyways. On MapGenie, you can hide/show certain things on the map to assist you. As you can see here, this is all of the extracts, PMC spawns and location names for the customs map. Again, this will really assist you over time in your PvP exchanges, as you might then know where to expect other players to be coming from, but also it'll help you learn the callouts to provide accurate information to your teammates. So for example, if you see someone in Crack House, you can say, yo, I've just seen a person in Crack House. Seems really simple, but honestly, this is such an important segment that you really need to do. This is one of the first things you need to do, is learn the maps, the callouts, the spawns, the extracts. Really key in Tarkov for PvP survival. So whilst this might not directly seem relevant to the PvP side of things in this video, I promise you it will 100% help you win more engagements. So next up here is patience and bravery. So basically knowing when to push a fight and when not to push a fight, but also to know that, you know, you're not made of glass. You know, you will survive a certain amount of shots even without armor. Now, as a streamer, I stream Mondays and Wednesdays, by the way, come through, come have a chat. It's not always fun content to stand still and hold a position to goad your enemy into making a mistake. However, this is an important tactic to use in certain situations. For example, here, we've just been in a fight with 2 groups in dorms. My 2 buddies died and I was alone to take on the remaining solo and separate 2-piece, so there's 3 players in total. As a fairly new player when this clip was taken that you're seeing here, the play here was definitely to wait it out and make as little noise as possible. I'm at a huge disadvantage with the powerful ammo the enemy is running compared to me, together with my lack of knowledge of the area. By sitting still and not moving at all, this will trick the enemy into a false sense of security and make them feel comfortable to become a little more reckless with their movement. They'll make tons of noise, sprinting around, thinking that the area is clear, which will then give me information that I need to win the fight. This allowed me to take out the remaining PMCs and get out of raids safely. Now, you need to think about ways that you can swing any negative situation into a positive situation, whether that be sitting put or repositioning to reset the engagement. Basically, you want to reset the advantage that they have on you at that time. This is why patience is key in certain places, like this one. However, on the flip side to that, it also can pay off to be aggressive in the correct circumstances. There is a large peeker's advantage in this game where you can use desync to your favour. In situations like this, being quick and pushing someone first can be the difference between winning and losing a fight. Just bear in mind that you should always try to use some form of pain or health regen medication beforehand. For example, the Propitol injector. This injector removes contusion for 240 seconds. It removes pain that your character is feeling for 245 seconds. So it's a pain med as well. It increases your metabolism by +20. It increases your health by +20. It increases your vitality by +20. And you get a health regen of 1 every second. So whilst you are being shot, you are regaining health, meaning you don't have to med constantly. I think it goes without saying that there are some meds that will keep you alive for longer during a fight. However, at lower levels, you're not going to have the propofol because it's not easily accessible. So make sure to utilize things like the analgin. I can never say this word. I always call it anal gin. So make sure to utilize the analgin pills, as these pain relief meds will help to suppress the pain your PMC is feeling and therefore keeping your aim on the target for longer. Once you've been in a few fights, these decisions will become second nature, but following these simple rules will help you get into the swing of knowing when to not push a fight. Basically, audio is key, especially in Tarkov, where the visuals can be really confusing if you're in an area such as an inside area like dorms, or an outside area where there's loads of bushes like woods. Your audio is going to give you more information than your eyes are at that point. So it's really key to sort of sit still and listen, and then you can make a decision whether you should stay sitting still and be patient, or you want to push them and you can use that desync, that netcode to your advantage by flying around the corner before they can even shoot you. And this brings us nicely onto the next segment, which is learning the ammo types and armor levels in game and how they coincide with each other. Just a little disclaimer, this video is not supposed to be an in-depth ammo guide, so there are videos for that coming out on this channel, so if that interests you, make sure to subscribe. But this is just for a basic understanding. So as a rule of thumb, it takes 10 penetration to get through level 1 armor, 20 penetration to get through level 2, 30 for level 3, and so on and so forth. Again, these are just rough estimates. If you want more accurate charts of exactly what will penetrate what, I'll link some charts in the description that will help you out. Now, some ammo has higher pen and lower damage, meaning that even if it can get through thick armor with a high pen, it might not actually do too much damage to your target and not kill them quick enough. This is called over-penetrating. On the other hand, however, there's ammo that has low pen but has super high damage, meaning that it will destroy any body part not covered by armor. This is known as flesh damage ammo, and the idea is you actually aim for arms and legs and instead of the center mass or the helmet, basically anything not covered by armor. In Tarkov, once a body part reaches 0 HP, which is also known as being blacked because the icon at the top left showing your character's limb health and certain body part health, it goes completely black to basically say that arm or that leg is dead and you need to use a surgical kit to fix it. Any further damage to that blacked body part will spread to other parts of the body, and this is how you end up dying from flesh ammo. Once your vital body parts, such as your thorax, reach 0 HP or they go black, you're dead. That's it. That's it for you, you're clocking out. This is why knowing the ammo that you're using and having specific aim for how you're going to kill your target is important to know. You need to know if you're going to be going for center mass or leg meta. There's a lot more to learn about the armor and the ammo, but this is honestly just for beginners and PvP. It is not to dive into the specifics of those parts of the game. Again, I will be making specific videos for all of the game to really help you out. So if you like my kind of tutorial and you've liked the video so far, again, make sure to subscribe. Next up is right hand peeking versus left hand peeking. Now, if you haven't heard about this before, this is going to hugely improve your survival rate, not only in PvP fights, but also radar and boss engagements. Essentially, when you're like peeking around a corner or you're coming around a corner, as the gun is on the right hand side of your character model all the time, you expose much less of your body by peeking from the right hand side compared to the left. Here we go. Allow me to give you a visual aid of one of my many like RGB controllers, because I'm a RGB gamer. Here's my gun, okay? Here's me. This is me. Here's my gun, okay? And I imagine this is a wall. My hand is a wall. If you peek from the left, you're doing that, right? So to get your gun around the corner to shoot, you've got to expose all of your body. However, if you're on this side, that's all you've got to do. Just a little bit out to get your gun round and you can see down the sights. I don't know how good that representation is going to be. There's much better ones in game that I'm about to show you. But I thought, hey, look, maybe you're a visual learner from a butterfly knife beard comb from CSGO and a freaking light controller, you know. So what this means is not only will you be able to shoot your target sooner, but you'll also be a lot safer in doing so. The problem is this is hugely exaggerated, and in my opinion, it's actually broken in the game at the moment. The first person camera is in such a position that it almost allows you to peek from the right hand side without exposing more than just the top of your head. There's another YouTuber called Shooterville. He made a really good video displaying this, and I'm going to just show you it here, but I'll link you to the full short below and his channel, so make sure to go check him out. He's a really good YouTuber in Tarkov. But I thought this is the perfect video that shows you how right hand versus left hand peeking impacts this game. It just shows you how drastic the difference is between the two of them. You can clearly see why this has such a huge impact in surviving a fight when choosing your angle of attack. The Raider AI and the more high level AI particularly have problems in hitting you when you're doing these right hand peeks, making it very important when you're fighting them. I would always advise that where possible you make sure to maneuver yourself into a position where you can peek from the right when you're taking shots at a target. And if you mix this segment with what we were talking about earlier with the netcode and the desync tactics of pushing a corner and moving quick, if you perform these peeks really quickly, just like a little bip, you know, you can literally kill someone so quickly they don't even see you appear on their screen because you're just you're like 3 pixels poking out, shooting and disappearing, and you're dead before they even see you with 0 threat to yourself. As long as you can aim, obviously. If you poke out and you miss, you're dead. And this brings us on to the next segment, which is sprint peeking. The sprint peek is a very effective way of peeking a doorway, a corner or any angle really, whilst moving and keeping yourself as safe as possible. Again, this is another very important tactic. In Tarkov, the heavier you are, the more inertia your character will feel when moving. Inertia, in its most simplistic terms, is the extra small movements you feel when changing direction or trying to stop on the spot. You've probably experienced this quite a lot in Tarkov, and it has most definitely got you killed in the past, even if you haven't realised it. When you go to move in the opposite direction you were just travelling, you will feel your character slowly decelerate instead of just stopping on the spot, meaning you might accidentally over-peek a corner, thus exposing yourself to be shot. Let's bring in our trusty friend here. We don't need the gun for this one. But if you're moving from left to right, let's say this is you walking forward, you're going bit, rather than just stopping dead as you reach the edge of a wall. The inertia with your weight will push you out a bit further. So you'll go bit, slowly out and back in. That slowly out is enough for some chads to bip your head off, or a raider or a boss. Now you can greatly reduce the amount of inertia you feel by actually going back and forward and not left and right. So when you're peeking, don't sort of do the left and right AD peek, do a WS peek whilst looking to the side. So rather than a little it's more of a little That makes sense. But even that is not going to be fully effective. So the tactic here and the way a sprint peek works is to actually sprint past the doorway or angle, whatever it is that you're trying to peek through, whilst using the free look function to look into the area that you're passing. So if it's a door, rather than peeking like this, you run past, and as you run past, you just do one of these and you peek through. Not only will this get you the information that you need on your enemy, but it will also make you a very hard target to hit. And again, it's using the netcode to your advantage. By running back and forth, you minimise the window of opportunity that your opponent has to shoot you. And once you have the information you need, you can make a decision on how you're going to engage that enemy. Whether it's knowing what corner to chuck a nade into, whether it's knowing exactly where to aim as you move into the room, the possibilities are endless, but the point is the sprint peek is very good. And this ties nicely into our next segment, which is to learn how to properly manage your weight and the items in your bag. Now, as I just mentioned, your weight will drastically impact the inertia you feel when moving, so the heavier you are, the longer it takes you to decelerate from that sprint or that walking animation. Not only that, but you'll also find that you lose energy and hydration quicker, and more importantly, your footsteps are so much louder for other players to hear. It sounds like an elephant flying down the staircase. So if you do find yourself with a full backpack of expensive loot to sell or a quest item, you'll be much better off by temporarily dropping your bag when you're about to have a fight. By default, the key binding for this, by the way, is to double tap Z or Z on your keyboard. This will drop your bag onto the floor and make you lighter, which means you can move quicker and quieter with less inertia for the fight. It's good practice to get into the habit of dropping your bag when there's a fight about to take place, or even during a fight. If you get hit by a sniper or someone from quite far away and you're almost in cover, you can always just drop your bag to make it that much quicker to get there. Next up, we have meds and injuries and what you need to ensure you take into each raid with PvP in mind. All the meds in Tarkov have specific uses, which again, we're not going to go into heavy detail in this video, as I've mentioned before, because it's a beginner's guide, but there are a few basics that you must understand and you must have with you for any fight, whether that's PvP or AI. Now, the most common injuries you'll come across are light bleeds, heavy bleeds, general pain, 0 HP limbs, the blacked limbs, and broken limbs. So therefore, you must make sure to have these meds with you before fighting. You don't want to forget a splint, for example, and only be able to walk during a fight. Trust me, I've been there not too long ago, and it is not fun. You therefore want to make sure you have the following as an absolute minimum amount of meds with you going into a raid. The first is a med kit for general healing to get your health back up. Second is a tourniquet / hemostat to stop heavy bleeds. Third up is a bandage for the light bleeds. Although you can use your med kit to get rid of the light bleeds, it doesn't use too much of the med kit to do so, but bandages are cheap, so if you've got one, just whack it in your backpack. A surgical kit to repair 0 HP limbs, so when those limbs are blacked you need a surgical kit to be able to heal them. Without a surgical kit you cannot heal those limbs and your aim might be all off, or you might not be able to sprint, so it's really important to have that. A splint to fix the breakages. As I said, you get a broken leg, you can't move, you can't sprint, you can only walk, so really important to have a splint with you. And finally, some pain medication of any type really to relieve pain. As I said, I will touch on meds in another video in much more detail and explaining what they all do individually and how they can work together. But that will be a more detailed, dedicated video later on. This is just a really basic starter's guide that I don't want to touch on the meds for too long because there's so much to know. Which brings us to our final point for the video, which is my best advice on how to practice PvP before Arena comes out. Now when Arena comes out, we'll be able to run PvP like it's Call of Duty, and we'll be able to test out different ammo, different weapons, firing types, armor, positions, stances. Like, you'll be able to test it all out because it will just be constant run in, die, but you've got no fear of losing your gear. It's just an Arena. So when that's out, you'll have a lot more freedom to learn PvP. But until then, there are actually 2 bits of main advice in this segment. Firstly, if you have EOD edition, so Edge of Darkness, for the game, the latest update brought about the ability to run offline raids with your friends, meaning you can stage your own PvP fights with a buddy or a couple of buddies, allowing you to practice against your friends with no jeopardy of losing your gear. Secondly, on the other hand, if you don't have EOD or you're a solo player, then I would advise to run Factory over and over and over again, because honestly it's the best way to force PvP. It's almost impossible to load into a factory raid and not see another PMC. With this, I would heavily recommend using the MP153 shotgun and flechette ammo. Anyone can be good using flechette, and I actually made an entire video explaining flechette ammo. A link can be found in the description or up here at the top of the screen. I would highly recommend checking that out as I talk about the flechette ammo and the shotguns and what is the best combination of the two. Basically, it is a guide to destroying factory. It is a ticket to win every factory raid that you run. But honestly, any loadout has the ability to go and get kills in Tarkov, especially if you use the tips that we spoke about in this video previously. And if you hit someone in the face, they're dead regardless of what you're running. What's great is that Factory is also a really good map to test out your grenade throwing skills, so make sure to go and pick up some F1 grenades from Prapor and use them as much as you can. Just lob those suckers, because if you die, they're gone anyway, so just absolutely yeet them. I usually yeet at least one as soon as I spawn in towards another spawn to try and get a lucky kill. Also, never underestimate the little guys. Weapons like the Kedda are little beasts, and they're cheap and they have such a good fire rate with really good accuracy. I've killed a few juice heads with that gun, and I honestly love running it early wipe, or early level I should say. On that note as well, if we're talking about early level weapons, I'd also recommend running the SKS if you're below level 15 and you don't have the flea. You can buy that from level 1 traders. It's really good for early level raids, and also you can whack a really cheap scope onto the weapon and run PS ammo, which packs a huge punch in this latest patch. So another thing I want to shoehorn in here is hip fire or point fire, whatever you want to call it, they're the same thing. And basically that's where you fire your weapon without aiming down the sight, so you shoot from the hip. And this is so effective in Tarkov and so important, I think it deserves its own video. Now, if your enemy is within 50 meters, sometimes a bit further, but 50 meters seems like a good rule of thumb, you don't need to aim down the sights. Honestly, it's only going to hinder you, especially in fast motion combat. Don't get me wrong, if someone's sitting in a bush facing away from you, aim down your sights and take off their head. But at the end of the day, like, if someone's up close in dorms or a close quarters combat, you do not want to be aiming down your sight at all. Stick a laser on the gun and just spray them down. There's a really good video that Jesse Kazam's just released about hip fire and point fire, and I think it would do much better justice for the feature in Tarkov than I could do. So there's a link in the description, go check that out. What he mentions in the video I thought was really important to bring up here is that there is reduced aim punch when you get shot by an enemy when you're not aiming down your sights. So when you're looking down the scope and you get shot, you'll notice that your character reacts and goes and you look up in the air. Well, when you're point firing and you've got your weapon by your hip, you actually see that there's a much less amount of that happening when you're being shot. It's still happening, but it's hugely reduced. That allows you to actually keep your aim on the target in those moments where you're duking it out with another player at close quarters. But as I said, that kind of does deserve its own video, and I think Jesse Kazam's done an amazing job with his latest one, so go and check that out and let him know that I sent you, even though he's got a ridiculous amount more subscribers, a bigger following, etc, etc. He ain't gonna know who I am, but you know, just do it anyway. Just go, yo, GFA sent us. And you know, maybe he'll see it and be like, who's that? But it's really important, go check it out, it's really, really good. But that will do us for this video. I've tried to keep all of the tips super relevant, but also not too overwhelming for the newer players out there. Whilst this may seem quite basic in areas, I promise you that as long as you follow these steps at an absolute minimum, you will increase your PvP performance tenfold, to 100%. You'll notice improvements in your gameplay in no time at all. If you have liked this video and you've enjoyed the video and you found it helpful, please do hit the like button. As I said, make sure to subscribe, come through to the live streams, come and do some raids with me. Until next time, I have been GFA. Peace.
Who's that?
Can't tell. He's in the mask again. Is it Gollum? Is it Gandalf?
Ask your friend.
Yeah, well you can ask your mum, cause I heard her screaming out last night. It's GFA. And we don't hydrate, we don't posture check, cause we want that cake.
For tiny hands.